Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week, I predicted that number 1 would be Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Number 2 would be Joker. Number 3 would be Black and Blue. Number 4 would be Zombieland Double Tap. And number 5 would be Countdown. And I got 2 out of 5 of my predictions right. However, it's not the one you're thinking of. It's not number 1 and number 2. It's number 4 and number 5. So let's go over what happened in the overall top 10. Number 1 was actually Joker, overtaking Maleficent, Mistress Evil by a couple $100,000, making $18.9 million this weekend. Domestically, that adds to a total of $277 million, and it has now become the highest grossing Todd Phillips movie that he has ever made, both domestically and worldwide. That's obviously a fantastic achievement, but more importantly, worldwide, it is sitting at $849 million, which is the highest grossing R-rated film ever made. Joker has now taken that crown, which is quite astonishing to say the least. That is such a great achievement for this film. I remember when the movie was about to come out and there was so much fear-mongering towards it. I was afraid that it was maybe going to lose a lot of the money that it was potentially going to gain, but no, it's only doing as well as you'd probably expect this movie, maybe even better. So I'm honestly so happy for this movie's success, despite people trying to get people afraid to go see the movie beforehand. Number 2, we have Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, taking a step down, sitting at $18.5 million. Domestically, it is sitting at $65 million in total, and worldwide, it is sitting at $293 million. Domestically, it is $11 million away from outgrossing the Peach Dragon remake, so at least there's that. And worldwide, it just outgrossed Alice Through the Looking Glass by $17 million, so that's pretty good. But I think in the category of Disney live-action remakes, because technically, even though this isn't a remake, it's a sequel to one, I think this is going to be one of the lower-tier ones, like Alice Through the Looking Glass and Peach Dragon, kind of like I mentioned. It still needs to get to about $370 million worldwide to be considered a success. I think it's still going to get there, but I'm sure Disney is probably expecting a lot more money out of this, so they're probably really disappointed. Number 3, we have the Addams Family, making $11.7 million, adding to a domestic total of $72 million, and worldwide it is sitting at $84 million now. Now that it finally has a worldwide total, I can finally tell you whether or not it outgrossed some of the other Addams Family movies. Worldwide, it still needs $107 million more dollars to outgross the first one from 1991. I don't think that's going to happen, but it already did outgross Addams Family values, so that's really great for them, honestly. And domestically, it is $41 million away from outgrossing the 1991 film. I still don't think that's going to happen since the numbers are starting to die down a little bit. I think it can get a little close, but not completely. Either way, I'm honestly kind of shocked at how well this movie's kind of hanging around, because I thought for sure it'd be a little lower, but it's still kind of hanging around in the top 5, which is quite interesting. Number 4, we have Zombieland Double Tap, making $11.6 million, adding to a domestic total of $47 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at $63 million. So domestically, it needs $28 million more to outgross the first Zombieland, and worldwide, it still needs $39 million to outgross the first Zombieland. Since the movie opened about $2 million more than the first movie's opening weekend, I think domestically, it'll definitely have a chance of outgrossing that first film as well as worldwide. So I guess we're really just going to have to wait and see. It could be one of those things where next weekend happens, it takes a big dip, and now those chances are very unlikely. Number 5, we have Countdown, making $9 million on a budget of $6.5 million. So actually a pretty solid opening, especially when you take into consideration that worldwide it is already sitting at $10 million. So it really only needs about $3 million more to double that $6.5 million budget, and it's all good to go. It pretty much already is. This is a cheap STX film, not a cheap Blumhouse movie, believe it or not. So they're going to make their budget back and then some at this point. They're probably going to triple it. I don't know about quadrupling it, because I don't think there's that much interest in this movie since it did open at number 5, but I think it has a good chance of not only doubling this budget, but also tripling it. Number 6, we have Black and Blue. I thought this movie would get more attention, but apparently not. It only made $8 million this weekend on a budget of $12 million. It needs $24 million to be considered a success, and maybe if some worldwide totals come in, it'll be able to help that movie out. This director, Deon Taylor, this is actually his second highest opening weekend out of all the films he's made. He's $2 million behind his overall highest grossing weekend, The Intruder. So the fact that this movie is being touted as like a very serious movie compared to The Intruder, which a lot of people can kind of say it's really dumb, the fact that that movie opened with $2 million more than this one, you know, that's kind of interesting to say the least. I haven't seen the film. I can't really speak on it, but I know that the thoughts on it are really mixed. So, I mean, it's kind of expected. Number 7, we have Gemini Man making $4 million, adding to a domestic total of $43 million. Worldwide, it is sitting at only $125 million. So worldwide, it was only able to bump up a little bit based off of last weekend. It still has not passed the $135 million initial production budget, which it still needs to double just to be considered a success. so that's slowly declining even more, and it's just earning a bigger reputation of being a big flop. There's already an article out there that was saying how much money it was going to lose in total, which has got to be a big bummer. At number 8, we have The Lighthouse, actually doing a little bit better than I thought, considering I didn't know many people that knew what this movie actually was. I went to see it Thursday night. I haven't had a chance to review it. I'm sorry, things got a little busy with editing these Halloween specials, but I was actually surprised to see that the theater was pretty large and it was almost kind of sold out. So it actually did make about $3 million this weekend, which may not seem like a whole lot, but considering I went in thinking it wouldn't make it into the top 10 at all, this actually is pretty good. It did have a lower opening weekend than The Witch's $8 million opening, which is the director's previous film, but honestly, I'm just shocked that it got it in there in general. You know, the budget is still a mystery to me. I'm estimating maybe around $5 million because that's kind of a usual A24 budget for something kind of low budget, but honestly, I think it will get like a reputation for some people, like maybe it'll hang around a little bit. Maybe not though, because this is a very weird movie. Maybe word of mouth is saying don't go see it. It's really bizarre, but I like to be optimistic and think that it will make a little bit more money because I really did love this movie. Spoilers for the review I might inevitably make, but I really love the movie. Number 9, we have The Current War. I didn't even know it was coming out this weekend. It made $2.7 million, adding to a worldwide total of only $7 million. Considering the budget is $30, this is not good in the slightest. This is a huge bomb. This movie was delayed for a bit, and now it's finally coming out. This star-studded cast of a movie is now flopping and getting some pretty poor reviews, which has got to suck big time. Finally, closing out the video, we have Abominable making $2.0 million, adding to a domestic total of $56 million. It just outgrossed the Wallace and Gromit movie by a couple $100,000, so that's good for them. And worldwide, it is sitting at $144 million, $6 million away from doubling that $75 million budget, which I think it will inevitably do, even though it will be leaving the top 10 right now. So this is overall a pretty solid domestic and worldwide run for this film, even though it probably could have done a lot better. Now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Number 1, I'm going with Terminator Dark Fate. Number 2, Joker. Number 3, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Number 4, Motherless Brooklyn. And number 5, Harriet. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.